Hello, beloveds. How are you today? I hope all is well with everyone. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm having a bit of a flash. Another day in the state of bipolar weather. So, I had an idea the other day that I wanted to share with everybody, and I tried to go live, but I need 50 subscribers in order to go live. So, if you would like to see me go live, subscribe. And then I can go live. So, in the last couple of reels, videos, I haven't quite got a hold of what to call these little presentations. But I have been ignoring the message of balance. So I wanted to address that briefly today. I am learning and noticing rather rapidly that when you're going through a process of self-healing or self-discovery, that it is very important to have balance. Balance mentally, spiritually, physically, and that means your health, that means your mind, that means your spirit. You need to seek balance, and you will find that you need to seek balance in these areas as you go down self-discovery. Your diet, what you intake, as always, your temple, your body is a temple. It's your reasonable sacrifice unto God, unto your well-being, unto your mind, unto yourself. It's your sacrifice, your vessel, and you must take heed to it. You must care for it. And if you're trying to do anything, you have to take the time to go through the necessary steps of caring for yourself. This doesn't mean you gotta be a skinny mini. It means that you need to be conscious of yourself, of your body and its needs. For myself, I can speak to the patterns. If you listen to your body will tell you what it needs and what it doesn't need. And for myself, with the journey that I've been going through, I've noticed that I have a reaction with meats now, processed foods and meat and dairy. My body just doesn't want it. And even though I crave it and I'm in the habit of having these things, I sometimes ignore the impulse of knowing that, oh, I'm not going to feel my greatest. I'm going to be sluggish, or I might get mild cramping, or it's like, look, I told you I don't want this, but you keep giving it to me anyway. Or you'll have inflammation or headaches, or you will have some symptoms that will let your body know that you are rejecting certain things that you are used to intaking, that now that you're on this journey of clarity and self-discovery, your body is not going to accept anymore. And it's amazing how your body must line up with your mindset. When you set your mind to do something, once I made up my mind that I was tired of going through the cycles that I was repeating, I would get to a certain state or a certain place in my life, in endeavors, in relationships, in work, in my ministry and serving and healing, I would get to a certain point and I couldn't get past that point. There were certain things that I was desiring and requesting and working toward, and I would get so close and something would just put me back in the cycle, start me all over again. But once I made up my mind to ask questions of myself, okay, Kathy, what's the problem? Why are you feeling this way? Why? I mentioned this in previous reels. I had to stop looking up and look within and start asking questions within myself. And once I made up my mind that whatever this journey is going to take me on, I'm going to be committed to it, and I have to do this because I need answers. I need answers. I'm in the middle of my life, and there's so much that I don't have answers for. So once my mind was made up, then my body started following the resolve and commitment, the journey that my mind was on. And that was to be better, to commit to self, to discover self, to find out what's ailing me, what's vexing me, what's blocking me. And most times when we have a blockage, it's us who's blocking us. Mind you, there are elements and forces that do tend to block us. But once you have a certain level of realization, the control is yours. You're the one in power now. Once you make up your mind that there's better, or you want to do something else, and everybody, doesn't always desire to rise. Some people just desire to plummet. But my point is, whatever you make up your mind to do, your body will follow. Because soon after I started my journey, my body was like, nope, we don't want this. Nope, we don't like that. And when you eat this, this happens. I know they tell you it's healthy, but we don't want it. And you got to pay attention to those things. With me, it was dairy. I love dairy. It's my weakness. I love the pastries. I love ice cream. Whipped cream, cream cheese. Love that stuff. Eggs. I used to eat eggs almost every day. Gotta have my grits and my eggs. And processed meat started bothering me. I love a good Italian sub. I love this is because I don't want to break from it. It's why I can't even speak it. But yeah, processed foods, meats, all of that stuff. So I started searching for good, recipes that would make me feel like I had something hearty or even delicious. It doesn't even have to be hearty. If it tastes delicious, that can be enough satisfaction for me. So I started looking for vegetable dishes. And I'm going to put some of the links to some of the people that I have used as sources that are rather helpful in the description box below. I will put links down there to let you know. But some of them are programs, and they have a price attached to them, but it's not exuberant, or else I wouldn't post it. But it's very worthwhile. The effects are quick, and when you're using natural foods, vegetables, and fruits, honey, they work. You just gotta work it. And do your research. Don't just, take it for face value. Do your research. You wouldn't just believe anything anybody told you for your finances, for your religious beliefs, or anything else for that matter. Do your research. But these things work, and once you make up your mind, like I said earlier, your body will follow. But it's your responsibility to be aware, to recognize it. That when you start feeling these things or sensing these things, stop. Don't push yourself past the feeling you're having. Acknowledge it now. What did I do to bring this feeling on? What happened? What did I intake that brought this feeling on? It works for good and the bad. Oh, I feel this burst of energy. What did I have that gave me such, or what did I do that gave me such a burst of energy? You got to recognize the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, and notate them. I recommend get some, what do you call the little black and white notebooks? Composition notebooks. Get you some composition notebooks, some journals if you want some cutesy, fancy designer stuff, or make your own. That's what I do. I mix and match. But get you some pens, get you some pencils, get you some notepads, some composition notebooks, and start journaling. Journal what you dream. Journal what ideas and thoughts come to your mind. Journal if you have visions, if you have ideas, if you have recall. Journal. Write it all down so that you can go back to it, date it, so that you can go back to it and see your growth, monitor your growth. I've had more results being from under a religious structure been under a religious structure for all of my life, and I've had more results breaking away from the traditions of religion in these last, I want to say 9-10 months, than I've had my lifetime under the structure of religion. So this works for me. This is the avenue that I'm going because it works. It's effective for me. It may not be everybody's cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with if you want to adhere to the religious structure, that's fine. But I'm talking about disciplining your temple and your mind, how your body is going to line up with whatever you're thinking, whatever you're believing. Your body is going to line up with it. So balance is very important. Once you make up your mind what you're going to do, have a structure about it. You have to know that your body is going to react to what you're believing, what you're thinking, and you're going to have to acknowledge that and reciprocate what it's telling you. This does not make you a physician. It does not make you a doctor, but it does make you aware. And if you do nothing else, pay attention to what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, and write it down. If you like, I suggest you discuss it with a physician. And that would be fine too. But holistic approach is the best approach if you ask me. All of our remedies to what's going on inside of us, I believe, is in the earth already. We are connected to it. It is connected to us. And we are here to help each other. We generate what we need from and for each other. And if you go back to the basics, hun, and start listening to what your body is telling you, it'll help you greatly. So balance, find balance. You got to find a time to meditate, a time to pray. Prayer and meditation to me is the same, When you're praying, you're speaking to spirit, and when you're meditating, you're listening to spirit. You're in stillness, waiting to hear from spirit. Spirit is Holy Spirit. Spirit is God. Spirit is ancestors. Spirit is angels. It's all spirit. Yes, there's good spirit, and yes, there's bad spirit, and that's why you must have discernment. And if you don't have discernment, start praying and asking for discernment. You will be able to tell what is good for you and what is bad for you. When you have discernment, you'll be able to decipher what is ill-fated and what is in your greatest and highest good. So, as I said, I will put some links in the subscription part, and now we're going to continue with our love affirmation for the day. What are we talking about today? Woo woo woo, woo woo woo, haha. An epiphany. Okay, folks. Surge on the uprising. This is another one. All right. The dissolving light. The dissolving light. It doesn't look like it's dissolving. To me, it looks like man, woman, child, spirit. See, it looks like man, woman, child, spirit, or God. How they're connected to the earth. I would say that's earth beneath them. It's greenish in color, and then it turns yellow. Yellow represents sunlight, creation, solar plexus. Green is the heart. Green is the earth. Green is the heart. And then it goes out into orange and red. Some brownish tones. All of that is your lower chakra, grounding. The title says dissolving light. I don't see it as dissolving. And the number is 3. So let's look it up and see. We did have I surge on the uprising wave of love, which I did do earlier. So So you can scroll down to that in the list. And when I opened the book, it went straight to I surge on the uprising wave of love, which is this. It's been done further down in the list. And right quick, it says, the little poem is, my life can be summed up in 3 accounts. I was raw, I was cooked, and I was burned. I surge on the uprising wave of love. No gravity can stop me from rising. The moon pulls the tide of life towards her, and my soul in oneness is in oneness with all of life's answers, and all of life answers her call. A wave of love consumes me, and upwards I fly, flying through water to greet her shining body, led by my heart. My wits are added, and my mind becomes a blurry mess. And so I feel instead, feel the truth of her love and the divine reflection she shines back at me from her radiant heart. What we always have at our disposal is choice as to how we respond to these affecting movements and cycles. The effect of this karmic cycle now unfolding in your life is to bring you into sweet surrender and awakening into greater love. What a delicious divine destiny. However, even if we sense at one level that a shift has a positive end in store for us, we can encounter resistance and fear, born of the ego, in response to the stirring of spiritual uprising. We may quake in our holy body and wonder if everything is getting out of control and into some disorder. We will be right in one sense, in our sense of imminent chaos. The disorder, however, is the ego perspective because its range of vision is too small, too limited, to comprehend the greater workings of the planetary system that move life towards love. This is as it should be. The teacup is not made to hold the ocean, just actually a cup of tea. But if we begin to imagine that the cup of tea is preferably to the ocean simply because it is more containable, how much we miss out on. Cycles. This is a little bit about what I was saying earlier. How I came to the point, since I'm speaking personally, how I came to the point, got tired of getting to the same spot in a situation or a relationship or an endeavor in my life, and then it would seem like I have to start all over again. I never get quite through to the accomplishment part, even with courses or schooling. I have gotten all the way to the end, to the completion mark, and then some source or something that I would have to rely on to give me that check would bail. And it was like, okay, why are you calling me to do these things? And then when I get completed with all of the works, the people who are required, or the things that are required to certify me, bail, suddenly unavailable or disappear. So, which today lets me know that I don't need to be certified to be qualified in what I have acquired. Period. And you can take that however you want to take it. So now we're going to go into today's the dissolving light. What I just read was from I Surge on the Uprising Wave of Love. This is further down in the cues. You can look it up. I'm going to have to go back to it myself after this and refresh my memory. I noticed this passage that I read, gave me some flashbacks to organized chaos. That's what I believe my description of this was, if I'm not mistaken, organized chaos. But the dissolving light. Man, woman, child, oh, it's about to rain again. The earth, the light, being grounded. Number 3, and here we go. The dissolving light. I died as mineral and became a plant. I died as plant and rose to animal. I died as animal and I became human. Why should I fear anything? When was I ever less by dying? Okay, I'm going to read it again so you'll understand it. I died as mineral and became a plant. I died as plant and rose to animal. I died as animal and I became human. Why should I fear anything? When was I ever less by dying? This brings me to scripture. Death, where is your sting? So many of us believe that when we leave this world that we're conscious of, that our existence ends and we just sleep, we just rest. Some of us, according to our beliefs, we probably will do that. But I believe, I know energy, spirit, it doesn't die. It transfers. It goes on. Just as many of you have had so many experiences with spirit or God or Jesus that you believe in it. That's how I feel about spirit, because I've had too many experiences with it. And the giftings that I have in spirit were given. They're not curses, they're gifts. And they were given. And I received them as such, as gifts, and I treat them as such. So, the dissolving light. Dare to take away my hand and dare to take my hand and become set alight with holy fire, my cherished one. Dare to take my hand and become set alight with body fire, my cherished one. Step forward with me. Let us burn together, dissembled in the light that cannot be extinguished. Okay, that's what I said. It doesn't look like it's dissolving. This is the light that burns with such incandescent truth that no falsehood can withstand its audacious vibrancy. Come with me now to the light. Together we shall melt into truth. There is a light so intense, so powerful, that nothing other than itself, its own truth, can exist in its presence. It is the sacred seed, the star of your being, lit up from within. It is the light that never goes out. It is the light that is so powerful, it is beyond duality of light and dark. It is beyond duality of light and dark. Cannot ever be extinguished or diminished, and quite simply beyond all logic. Just is. Certainly, no lie or deception, no boundary or defense can remain intact in its presence. The blazing divinity of this light sears through any pretense, annihilates illusions, and takes us into stark experience of divine truth. It is gentleness, and yet it cannot be overcome. It is enduring power, and yet it is tender. Now, for whatever reason, and this is the second time that this has come up in my spirit in the last 2 days, I am my girlfriend, my best friend, she got married, and her matron of honor was such, she was so, is so deeply involved with God. Her relationship, her rapport with her, with her, with her love for God is so, she is still among us, is so concentrated that when she would come in my presence, I would begin to weep. And at first, it was upsetting me. It was like, why am I so emotional? Why? And then I got it. It was like every time she came around, my spirit would quicken and I would just weep. And it was the glory of God. It was the glory coming off of her. Her presence, she resonated in holiness, and it was thick. So much so that at one point I had resolved myself to enjoy this trip because I had so much going on. But you're at a wedding, you gotta, push past the things you're going through and try to be in the moment. And we were at the restaurant where we was having the bridal shower, I believe it was. And I had just hyped myself up. Okay, you're going to have a good time. You're not going to think about anything. You're just going to be in the moment. And she walked through the door, and I just openly started speaking what I was feeling. I was like, oh no, here she comes. And everybody was like, what do you mean? Oh no, here she comes. And so I had to explain myself. And I was like, I just made up my mind that I was going to put everything aside of me and enjoy this one night. And as soon as I see her, I always start weeping. And she began to apologize, as sweet as she is, but she didn't need to. It was just the Spirit of God trying to connect with me, trying to give me some resolve, help me to see something I needed to see. And I was so emancipated by all of the stuff I was going on, all of the incidents that were happening. And I was clashing with the bride and trying not to clash. And I was going through health things and other stuff. And the last thing I wanted to do was be weeping before God when I had to function in this wedding that I really didn't want to be in. So it's well, I went through it, but that's what this reminds me of, talking about the light that never goes out, how powerful it is, and it goes beyond duality. And that's what I experienced with her. Her resonance, her was so concentrated that she was separated from everything that she was going through, and she was just connected to source. She was just connected to spirit. Despite whatever is going on around her, she was connected, and I was able to see and sense and feel that connection and react to it purely. But there's been only ever been one other person that I have reacted to like that, and that was my grandmother. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Though you seek the divine and even know it as love, you also know that it is fierce, wild, inexplicable, and demanding beyond all measures. Indeed, it is. It wants you completely, utterly, without condition. Without condition. There will be times in your life, such as now, when there is something not worthy of you that must be released. Here we go. This is a falsehood, a lie or deception of some sort that you have come to believe about yourself, your life, or perhaps even another. You may know that the deception is, or it may be about to be unveiled. Excuse me. It is not a cause for fear or concern, but for celebration. An illusion has or soon will be released, and you shall become freer, free in a way that only truth can provide. This oracle comes to you as a sign of that which is to come, and soon. The beloved divine presence is calling to you, igniting within your deepest being so that it may have its way with you. The divine wishes to live through you and into the world, reaching into the hearts of many and lighting those hearts into greater life. It is a clever and insatiable lover. It will stop at nothing until the entire human race is restored to the wild divine freedom of ecstatic divine reunion, completely and utterly ignited in love. And so, the great lover, the divine, calls for you to enter into the white hot field of its passionate presence. There will be sizzle and burn. It cannot be otherwise. In the height of summer, in the height of summer, you cast aside the layers of clothing you require in the winter. This is natural. You do not think twice about it. As you approach the radiant sun of divinity, your emotional and psychological layers are to be shed too, for they are too heavy for the heat of the great spiritual sun. See, now, this ain't even fair. I'm trying to contain myself, my emotions right now. You do not think twice about it. As you approach the radiant sun of divinity, your emotional and psychological layers are to be shed too. Your emotional and psychological layers are to be shed too. For they are too heavy for the heat of the great spiritual sun. What cannot stand the heavenly heat is to be cast aside swiftly by conscious choice, or shall simply burn up, dissolving in the light and melting away. What is left shall be what is true. Now, this just brings me to ego. This brings me to pride. These are things that ego and pride are things that contaminate love. That's what I've learned during my journey, that these are things that block love, that don't allow you to experience love at its fullest, capacity. Fear is another one. Fear, judgment, ego. These are things that limit love. These are things that block love. And these are some things that I had to work through, process, and let go of. And fear is one of those things. And that's what I felt rising up in me as I was reading, because judgment was hard. Ego for me was easy to let go of ego. I guess being someone who recovering from codependency behaviors, it was easy to let go of ego. But fear and judgment, I would say judgment of others and self-judgment was my hardship. And from time to time tends to be my hardship. But fears, I'm still working through those. I still have fears of some things. And that's what this is bringing me to. And those are the things that I believe what I cannot let go will be burned, will just be released from me. They'll be removed. They'll be burned from me. Because there's no turning back on this path. I'm going forward. Okay? And shall simply burn up, dissolving in the light and melting away. What is felt shall be what is true. What is left shall be what is true. So here is your guidance, sweet love, lover of the great beloved. Give it up. The smallness, the conditionings, the fears and doubts, the lack of reverence for yourself and life, the belief that somehow things are not okay or aren't going to work out. This is all a paltry attempt at truth. You are coming into a truth now that is far more worthy of you. A truth with a capital T. The big truth: love, trust, surrender. These are things I've been talking about intensely in the last, I want to say, 3 reels. This is about a sacred shedding without fear or holding back. Cast aside whatever would hold you back rather than free you to fly into your divine destiny. You are not to be the same from this moment on. This is the holy word. The word inscribed in living divine fire is your sacred heart. This oracle brings you guidance. Trust in your changing perspective and perceptions. Don't hold on to what you once believed or thought to be true. Allow yourself to be shown another version of events, another way of perceiving. Don't focus on what is not working in your current estimation of things, for that is nothing more than a passing opinion. You are being given an opportunity to see and know yourself, others, and particularly life circumstances very differently. Embrace it. Don't resist what is being shown to you. For even if there are some struggles in adjusting your view at first, ultimately this change in perception will free you and bring you more deeply into the wellspring of your own inner peace and happiness. Which I agree with, because I have been unable to find happiness in what religion tells me to find happiness in. I am not programmed to operate by the standards of religion. Religion, not Christianity, but religion is controlling, manipulating, and it is aggressive and numbing. It desires to repress and control. Now, the dissolving light. Okay, now I can see why they would say the dissolving light, because whatever that is blocking or striving against love is dissolved in the light. So now I can relate to the dissolving light, because all the fear, all the doubt, all the judgment, all the ego and the pride, all of that cannot survive in love. It can't survive in the greater light, which is love, which is which is my journey, which is what I'm all about right now, discovering real love, true love, love for myself, love for mankind. Don't even get me started with mankind. I am the human race in general. I am disappointed in, as are, I'm sure, many of you. But that does not mean that I'm hopeless. I'm not hopeless. I'm just disappointed. We need to do better. We are so quickly turned and misguided to judge, to point fingers, to categorize things in little boxes, and not realize that the divine whom we love and serve is already aware and aware of what we are becoming aware of. And I just want to be beyond all of that. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. It just damages us as beings, living beings. And all of these things that we hold in ourselves in life, when we pass on, when we transition to the other side, we take them with us. Y'all better believe it. Y'all better know it. So get it right. That's why it's important in Christianity to get it right while you're here. Which means, as far as I'm concerned, as I can only speak for me, is to recognize what love is and to really love somebody. You can't have all of those things. You can't have fear. You can't have judgment. You can't have pride. These are things, like I just read, that they don't mesh with love. Love is a pure thing. It's a powerful thing. I've seen and heard testimonies of how, for example, babies are born with no life in them. But when they touch their twin, if they're born with a twin, or when they touch their mother, that they come back to life. What is that but love? The power of love. Their energy, their resonance, that energy, that spirit, flow of spirit that they have been coupled with from the point that they were conceived in life, in this earth. They were connected to it. And then bursting through the matrix, somehow they felt separated from it. But once they are rested upon the other child that came with them, or the mother, they come back. Love is a powerful thing. It causes us to do all kinds of things. Sometimes we do stupid things. Sometimes we get the energy or the vision to do some really breathtaking, powerful, warm things. So it is a force to be reckoned with. And I can understand how there are people in the world who haven't experienced love because something in their life has caused them to be numb, to close their exposure to what love is, what it can be, how to act in it, how to receive it, how to acknowledge it. And a lot of us don't know how to honor that, how to treat that, or respect that. And a lot of us have been hurt by people like that. But love, being the powerful source that it is, it just wants you to accept it for what it is. Like for me, I have been getting unctioned in my spirit to return to the level of forgiveness that I had as a child. I know the Bible speaks of having childlike forgiveness. And it's true. Children easily forgive. They could be fighting one minute, and the next minute, the offense is forgotten. It's as if it never happened. They're loving and hugging each other and laughing and playing until the next offense. And they're over it as quick as it happens, it ends. And that's how we are to be. We are to quickly forgive. We are to quickly forget the offenses against us. And that's because they harden us and change us. They make us mean, intolerable, sad, broken. When we're unable to just quickly forgive, to quickly just release. It's easier, but something in our flesh tells us, hold on to it. Then you begin to judge to what level they need to be repaid, and they need to be punished until I feel better about it. Why do you feel better about someone being punished, harmed, or hurt just because you were harmed or hurt? I understand the desire of revenge. I felt it many times in my life. I understand how we want revenge because we feel like the thing that we want revenge for was hurtful, it was damaging, it was unfair, it was unnecessary. But in love, there's going to be something that says, what made them do it? Why did they do it? What was so wrong for them? What hurt them so? What caused them to not have feeling, to not operate in love? Not many of us answer that question or even ask that question because we get so engrossed, overcome by anger. And that's why I believe that it's important to acknowledge your feelings, even anger. And it's more important that you process them. Don't just experience your feelings. Process them, analyze them, and let them go. You cannot hold on to them. You cannot harbor them. You cannot suppress them. You have to process them and let them go. So, the time is far spent. We're almost at an hour. And I'm getting thirsty. I'm thirsty. And I think that's enough for today. The dissolving light. And if you like, you can go back a few clicks to I Surge on the Uprising Wave of Love. Can you see them both in the frame? I'm going to be going back to Uprising Surge of Love. Because I remember that my first response to this was organized chaos, but I'm also getting an inkling of some other things now. To me, it's looking like an artery to the heart. So, I surge on the uprising wave of love, and the dissolving light. This concludes our session for the day. I hope you have enjoyed it. And remember, if you want me to go live, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I love you to life, and I'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.